This is a follow-up to the story I told about my trip to Europe with my friend when I was 19 years old. The story is called A Miracle for Pants. I tell this story as a student of coincidence. By that I mean I have kept a journal over the years that includes my observations of coincidences. I look back at my writings and see if I can learn from them. Quite a few years ago, I drove my daughter Summer over the hill, as we say, from San Jose to Santa Cruz, California, to meet someone, to see about sharing an apartment by the University of California, Santa Cruz campus, where she would be attending school in the fast approaching fall season. As we came into Santa Cruz, I looked up in the sky to see a bright lone star. I recited a poem my father taught me as a child. Star bright, starlight, first star I see tonight. Wish I may, wish I might, get the wish I wish tonight. I think it's from Disney's movie Pinocchio. I wished that Summer would get the apartment and that she would find joy in her life. My daughter met Pants that night. Now I should explain that Pants is a nickname for Clea. My daughter liked the pants that Clea was wearing and nicknamed Clea Soft Pants on account of her pants being so soft. Soft Pants was later shortened to just Pants, and the nickname caught on. Clea forevermore would be known as Pants to Summer and others close to Summer. At Summer's first meeting with Pants, they talked for about an hour in the apartment that sits on top of the Upper Crust Pizza restaurant, while I waited in the car. Although Pants had other applicants, she felt a connection with Summer, and after discussing it with her mother, Pants decided to have Summer move in. Over the next couple of years, Pants and Summer became close friends. Pants had lost her father years earlier, and her mother died before she graduated. She had also discussed with her mother about having Pants moved in. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. After graduation, Summer and Pants made plans to travel to Europe, which reminded me of when I traveled to Europe. Pants planned on spreading her parents' ashes in several different countries throughout Europe. She figures it would be since her parents like to travel. Summer and Pants made arrangements for their trip and on the internet. The date was set. Their flight left September 22nd, 2005. Pants came over to our house the night of September 21st, 2005 because I was going to drive Summer and her to the San Francisco International Airport at 6 o'clock a.m. the following morning, September 22nd. She took the train from San Francisco to Sunnyvale, where Summer picked her up a little after 11 o'clock p.m. Shortly after arriving at our house, Pants approached me as I was reading my Mark Twain book. She seemed upset about something. She had a pad and pencil and asked me for directions to the downtown San Jose train station. She had left her wallet with her license and ATM card along with her cell phone, passport, keys, and a banana in a small brown bag on her seat on the train. I told her I would drive her. She was thinking that the bag might have been thrown away as it looked like garbage. Summer called the train station, but there was no answer. With utmost urgency and determination, Summer, wearing her pajama bottoms, Pants and I jumped into the car and headed for the downtown train station, assuming that would be the end of the line for the train. When we arrived at the train station, it was approaching midnight and the station was closed. We saw a security guard walking into the train loading area, so I let Pants and Summer off to chase him down while I parked the car. After parking the car, I went to the train platform and looked at the train schedule. The 11:32 p.m. train had arrived on track 5. I walked through the deserted tunnels that led under the tracks until I found the sign pointing to track 5. After climbing the stairs, I saw Summer and Pants talking to the security guard 2 tracks over to my left. I waved to them and kept walking towards the train a couple hundred yards down track 5. When I got to the front of the train, I noticed the number 901 on the front of the sleeping locomotive. I had a relaxing, knowing feeling. 9:01 made me think of September 1st, the day my father died. I thought to myself, this is the train. The guard came over to where I was followed by Pants and Summer. I wasn't supposed to be out there. The guard didn't know what train came from where, and the train doors were locked shut. So I asked him if there was a lost and found for items left on the train. Just then we looked up and saw a woman wearing a hard hat walking through the train. The guard knocked on the train window to get her attention. She opened the train door so we could explain our predicament. The woman explained that she had just started her graveyard shift to clean the train. Pants asked if she could come on the train to look for the bag. The woman explained that it was against the rules, but she would look for the bag. Pants now had her hands covering her face as she told us that without her license, passport, and ATM card, she couldn't go on the trip to Europe. She was really shaken up. I tried to console her until the woman with the hard hat came back to show us a brown bag with an empty beer can in it and let us know that was all she found. Seeing how desperate Pants was, she bent the rules and invited Pants to look on the train. Summer and Pants found the seat Pants sat in, but alas, the brown bag was not there. I asked the security guard what time the lost and found opened. He told us 5:30 a.m. The lady with the hard hat was moved by Pants' plight and said, "I can take you to the lost and found right now." I don't think she was supposed to do this, but she wanted to help Pants find her wallet. She led us back towards the station. The guard told us it was 12:11 a.m., which meant it was now September 22nd. We crossed a couple of tracks and headed toward the locked station. I looked to my left and saw a fancy passenger car with the numbers 222 marked in big letters on the side. Right at the same place where the woman turned towards the locked door. I slowed down time and enjoyed another knowing smile and told Pants that she'd get her bag back, but she didn't hear me. The number 222 has special meaning for me. My birthday is on the 20th and my father's birthday is on the 2nd. When you add the two birthdays together, you get 22. 9 is my angel number and 22 is my father and my birthdays added together. And 5 is the month my mother, father, and I were all born in, so I saw 9/22/05 as a good sign. For Summer and Pants to go to Europe. To me, the number 222 means I am connected with my Father's Spirit and the union of oneness with God's Holy Spirit and guardian angels. The woman unlocked the door and let us into the musty old train station. As we walked through the station, we walked right by a middle-aged man who had his back to us. He had long gray hair and seemed to be looking through a big black bag. After we passed him, I heard him say, "Hey, you're the girl with the brown bag. I recognize your picture from the license." I didn't want to leave your wallet in the lost and found, so I took it across the street to the operations office. I saw you sleeping on the train and I woke you up for your stop at Sunnyvale. When we got to the end of the line, I picked up the brown bag on your seat and I was going to throw it away, but the bag hit the seat and made a noise, like there were keys inside. So I opened it and found your wallet. He had a big, bushy gray mustache that went with his long gray hair. He had a limp in his right leg. He called himself WW, short for Wayne Washburn. Pants gave him a big hug and we all smiled at her good fortune. I asked the lady with the hard hat what her name was to see if the string of signs would continue, or the string of coincidences. I call them signs, they're also coincidences. She said her name was Angelica. I whispered, "You're an angel." We walked across the street with WW limping and leading the way. He told us to wait since we really weren't supposed to be there. He found the man who had the bag and gave it to Pants. I didn't look at my watch, but I bet it was 12:22 a.m. on 9/22/05 when Pence got the bag back. As we walked back to the car, we all felt very blessed. For me, it seemed like guardian angels had scripted each of the characters' actions up to this very point in time. I told WW I would write a story about it, so here it is, dude. Our adrenaline was pumping as we drove home to get a few hours sleep before heading off to the airport. Back at the house, Pants said it was a miracle. The next morning, as I was driving Summer and Pants to the airport, Pants said, "I think my lucky dime in my shoe pocket worked for me last night." "Lucky dime?" I inquired. Yes, my boyfriend gave me a dime with a hole in it to take with me on our trip for good luck. She went on to explain that when her boyfriend's father died, his uncle mysteriously found 4 dimes in his pocket. Her boyfriend's father had 4 children, so the uncle drilled a hole in each dime and gave 1 to each child. Pants has a little pocket in her shoe that she keeps the holy dime in. I told her about a story I read about someone putting a dime in their deceased loved one's hand, telling them to call them when they got to heaven. It was on page 67 of a book by John Edwards. My wife Carla and I also had a very interesting, unusual coincidence with dimes. I call it the sign of the dimes, which is another story I'll tell at another time. So anyway, they were on their way to Europe. I told them I prayed for them to have a good, safe trip to Europe and back home. So they got all that going for them, which is nice. About 5 years later, we moved Carla's mother to a retirement home in Oregon. The apartment they gave her was room number 222. Thank you.